All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Ryan Larimore. I'm the sports editor here at the Eastern Echo. I'm sitting down over here with Coach Ron English of the Eastern Michigan Eagles football team. How's it going, Coach?
Hi, Ryan.
All right, just got a few questions for you here today. We're on the eve of the eve, I guess, of the Eastern Michigan and Central game. Campus looks pretty fired up. Have you noticed that around campus?
I wish
Coach?
I had time to go on campus. I'd love to do that, but I haven't. But we're fired up, and I just sense that this game is going to be a big game for everybody. I think our community really wants to back the team. I know that. And we got to win some games to make this thing really take off. But I think the community feels better about how the team is playing, and so we're excited, and it's going to be a big game. I know our first game was great in terms of the tailgating and the crowd, and the student section did a great job. The band did a great job, and all the people at the game did a great job. So we're excited about the game.
All right. And Central's got a lot new going on this season. New coach, new quarterback. What's your take on them?
Well, Coach Enos is a good coach. He's been around a while. They've become more of a two-back power running team at times, which is his influence from Michigan State. I think the quarterback is active, and he may have a stronger arm than last year's quarterback. I don't know if he's as accurate or as poised or as experienced, but he has a very strong arm, and he likes to throw the post route down the field. And so offensively, they'll be tough to contend with. Defensively, they're very, very sound, very well coached, very technically sound. And the thing I like about their defense is they're really disciplined. And so you're going to have to do things right to beat them, to score points in terms of blocking. And when you block them, you have to use proper technique. And you have to take care of the ball because they're going to go after the ball.
All right. And I have to wonder, CMU's running game hasn't been, ideal yet, and neither has your run defense. Is this a game where you maybe get your running game back or run defense?
I think they're
going to
run the ball more than they have, and I think it's up to us to stop it. Now, I think when we stop it, then they'll throw the ball, but and they threw the ball 50 times in the first game and threw it a bunch in the second game. But I think they want to show some balance there, and I think they want to run the ball, particularly considering that we haven't defended the run well. I think we're getting closer. We're fitting better. I thought in the past our issue had been more tackling than anything else in effort, whereas now it's more knowing where to be at the proper time. And the tackling's getting better, the effort's getting better, but we have to fit right or else the ball's coming out.
And where do you feel your best matchup is with Central?
Well, it's interesting because I'm not a big stat guy, but I did review the stats this week. Our pass defense is 114.5. Their pass defense is 115.5. We're about 70 yards a game rushing more than they are rushing. And so there's some advantages there. Our punt team is number 1 in the country, and their punt return team is number 3 in the MAC. So there's some statistical advantages there. Our third down conversion rate on offense is number 1 in the MAC. Our fourth down is number 2 in the MAC. So we have some advantages, and they do as well. And statistics don't really, to me, determine the outcome of games, but they do give a barometer of where of the trends that are happening.
All right, and how do you feel Alex Gillette is coming along? First, he had his first full camp as starter, and now he's got a couple games this season under his belt, as well as last season. How do you feel he's coming along?
He's throwing the ball a lot better, and he's a stout kid, and he can run the ball, and he's helped us in that area. But he's throwing the ball better, and what I like to see him do is eliminate 1 or 2 plays. Last week, he threw 2 interceptions. One was the receiver's fault, but the other was just really a throw that is hard to understand. And he just has to understand the value of the ball. That was the second down play, and in the first game he turned that ball over. So we just cannot survive turnovers, and so as he matures to the next step, I'd like to see him take control of the ball.
All right, and can you talk about just Dwayne Priest has been pretty solid. Last game he didn't quite get
he's a little
yards.
gimpy last week and not completely healthy. And there were not a lot of big creases, but there were enough creases in that game if we were really hitting it up in there. And I just felt like he was not able to do that.
How's he feeling this week?
He's better. He's better. And so against some great linebackers and a great defensive front this week in Central Michigan. So he's really going to have to get his pass down and run hard and be decisive. I think the key is that the running backs have to be decisive, and we weren't decisive last week. We have a good offensive line. I think you, as a sports editor, can see that. And I think there's some yards there to be had, but the backs have to be decisive, and you're not always going to have big seams. You may have a 3 or 4 yard run that's a great run, and then it becomes 3 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards, 6 yards. So the backs have to hit the holes.
Definitely. Okay. Coming back to sort of the Central and Eastern Michigan thing, your last victory, as I'm sure you've heard, is against Central. I
didn't hear that, but what I do know is Eastern Michigan has won 3 of the last 5 games between the two schools, and so we're well aware of that. We've shown our players a little footage of those games, and I think that it's going to be a game with really high emotions. And I think that the team that plays the best is going to win the game. And I think that if you ever lose sight of that, you're kind of missing the boat, because our issue has been we've shown up ready emotionally, and we've hustled and done all those things, but we have not executed for 4 quarters. And we're not closing games when we have the opportunity to close them. For example, last week we go up by 7, and then we allow a big kick return. Or we have a chance to really hit the quarterback. We don't do that, or we have a chance to pick a ball off. So it's learning how to win really is taking advantage of your opportunities when they present themselves and understanding momentum. And we need to get better in that area. And this game, again, is going to be won by the team that plays the best.
All right. Thank you. Once again, that was Coach Ron English with the Eastern Michigan football team. Game's Saturday, 4 o'clock.